Hello and welcome, fellow tankers. I have collected the 4 engineer starters which are for free by playing the event, and I want to open them together with you. Of course I already have opened them and I know what's going to happen, but I wanted to share this with you because I already said the percentage of something good to happen is very low, and most of the stuff you can pull out there is not really worth it. But I wanted to share this nevertheless with you. If nothing came out, I would have had a video where I can show you, okay, yeah, for free starters, they at least bring a little bit credits or premium time or something like this. And I have to say, a little bit I was expecting something to happen actually. Because I had very much luck 2 years ago, where I pulled out the Astron Rex and the T-77, which are good tanks. This time the first engineer starter was a Swedish crew book and then 500,000 credits, which is both nice to have, not a bad thing. And now here we go. The probability of pulling one is an absolutely fabulously cheeky 2%. I wasn't believing it when I saw it first. The Object 274A, which is a tier 8 premium tank, and it's not even one of the bad ones. I told you the CS Liz and the SHPTK are the best ones you can pull out here, but I have to say the Object 274A would be the number 3, third one, which is really nice to have. It's not OP, it has a very strong turret, you can play a little bit hull down, it has good penetration but a little bit costly ammunition. But it's a fine tank to have, a fine tank to play, and definitely not nothing you would have to pay money for, but for free it's awesome, and I really am glad that it was in this box. And I already told you 2% is an absolutely fabulously cheeky 2% of a chance is very low, and I had the luck. I was very appreciating it. The last one was 1 day of premium, which is nice to have. But if you're unlucky, you pull this stuff 50 times and then that was it. So now I got the Object 274A, which is very similar, I think, to the 122 TM from the Chinese. But it has less accuracy, so it's a little bit more frustrating to play sometimes, but you can also brawl a little bit, and I'm very glad because I don't have such a medium tank by now. So of course I want to show you guys some gameplay with it, and this was my first match with it. It's on the map Redshire, and I wasn't sure actually how to play this tank. Of course I have seen videos about it. I checked it on the website Tanks.gg, how the armor is working, and there I recognized that it doesn't have such a strong hull actually. The strong point is definitely the turret, which can be used definitely quite good against tier 8 and tier 9. Of course with some borders, if some heat comes towards you with over 300 millimeters penetration, I don't think that turret is strong enough to bounce there anything. But it's not that slow than I expected. It's quite okay mobile, I would say. It comes around 35 to 40 kilometers per hour, and my start wasn't the greatest one. I was flanked here in the side and was eating some damage. Almost my ammunition storage was blown up, and now what I'm trying here is to use its strength and to play hull down, and luckily that SU didn't have much more HP left when it was coming YOLO at me. That was very bad shot. Also the CS44 is quite a strong tier 7 tank. If it uses its armor good, and if I don't aim very good, it's quite a strong opponent. I was still spotted here, so stupid move from me. As far as it looks by now, it's not such a good game, and I'm struggling with making this tank work. But I'm getting used to it a little bit, so I should be now unspotted, and now I can try my best to shoot that T-28. But I'm still using normal ammunition here, which means I don't have so much of penetration. I have to check this. It's around 227 millimeters, and the premium is far stronger with 289, and also flying much faster with 1300 meters per second, and the normal ammunition is just 1000, but it's still quite fast. If you compare it with other tanks, even the Progetto just has something around with 900 millimeters per second on the standard ammunition, which is still a strong and good AP ammunition. So yeah, I want to make sure to penetrate something, but it's still very unlikely because the gun is not that accurate, and the problem doesn't come with ammunition or with the penetration or with the speed of the penetration. It definitely comes more with the accuracy. So I was already trying to improve the gun handling as much as possible, and here it now works. The reload time is actually not bad as well, so it comes around with quite a good DPM. It's not outstanding, but good to use for sure. And I'm still trying. And finally, my shot hit. So we have to play quite passively here, but my team is making a good move on that hills. And we are defeating the last enemy, which was standing there. So now I should push and give my best here to make myself useful. The enemy is already almost dead. Only the Jagdtiger prototype is unspotted. And as you recognize, we are top tier here. Normally the first battle of, if you have a new tank, the first battle is always a top tier matchmaking, as far as I recognized or noticed. So that was a little gift from Wargaming maybe. We played okay, we were a little bit above our own HP. But I think it wasn't a bad game to show you how this tank is performing, how it's working. But we didn't see any brawl right now. Was the problem of the defending mode. But I'm gonna try to give you another match where you can see that this tank actually has quite a good armor if you play the turret as it's supposed to be. So we're leaving this battle with 1800 damage around, and that's not a bad outcome. So fast look at the post-game stats. We did not bad here, we played mediocre, but still harvested quite a good amount of XP compared to the rest of the team, so that was an okay game. The second match I brought with is on the map Malinovka. Not the best map maybe for this tank. I think the best scenarios are if you're playing against your own tier or lower in a city map where you can play quite good hull down somehow. But this doesn't mean that those maps are not playable. Actually, sometimes you can be very lucky and make use of your quite good penetration. So we are here in only tier 8 match, which is also a good possibility to play a little bit aggressive at the beginning, to see if the enemy maybe is doing some mistakes and doesn't and is not trying to get the important positions. So our light tank is playing the very south, which one of our teammates is not happy with. But that's how this guy wants to play the map, and we have to deal with it. So I'm trying with the E75 TS and the Iron Arnie and the Yo tank and maybe the Carnarvon, which is crawling behind us, to conquer the hill. We have a lot of enemy tank destroyers, so actually both teams have a lot of tank destroyers. And I guess that means the enemy will play more defensively. So our enemies we can expect here are the BZ, the T-32, the Tiger, maybe even the VK. They are all tanks with a strong turret, more or less. But of course, if we are not trying to do something here, the enemy will get this position anyway. So for now, no enemy tank was appearing, but compared to the other heavy tanks, our medium tank is quite fast, or at least more versatile. So I'm staying a little bit behind here so I can be flexible and react to the situation. The E75 is already very far ahead and spots the first enemy, so I'm trying to make myself helpful here. If the enemy comes from one of the sides, I can maybe crossfire him. But the Iron Army goes completely into the enemy and more of the heavy tanks are spotted, and now I just decided this is not possible for me to play here because the enemy is not coming up far enough up the hill, so I can use my gun depression somehow. They are fighting a little bit more down, and the Iron Army is already dead, so it looks like we will lose the hill because they are waiting for us to push into them and then they have the advantage. So I'm going far back to hide my ass behind those trees here. Gonna build myself a nice nest. Gonna speed this up a little bit. And this is now the chance which I was waiting for. The enemy doesn't look at me and is busy. Our teammates are now really struggling, but I am much more helpful from here because I can now flank the enemy tanks and don't waste myself up in front of them. So we deleted the VK75. Now it goes to the BZ. And now the gun is quite okay. It still does its job very good. Let's see if this works against the T-32 as well. I reloaded gold ammunition for this hardly armored beautiful enemy. And now the Tiger 2 gets it in the sights. Ferdinand. Maybe I should have tried it here to shoot him. But the T-32 wants it as well. But of course that's the thing you have to deal with. The gun will not be a sniping tool. You have to take lots of shots, but you have quite a good reload time, so always take your chances. Whereas the Scorp, I should have maybe now tried to get it with the HE, but it wasn't reloaded fast enough. Because the HE shell on this tank is not bad as well. I'm gonna check it. It's around 62 millimeters. So you can penetrate those typical victims of HE shells pretty good, like the Scorp. And we still try to improve our damage ratio here. The APCR ammunition, so the gold ammunition on this tank flies much faster, so that was actually a good decision to hit that Scorp on the run. And now it's just on us to kill the T-32, which finally worked. And now there are only 6 enemies left, so it looks already pretty won. We have 2,500 damage, and now it's all on us to push as fast as possible into the enemy. The last tank destroyers are still waiting. Still 4 of them are alive, which didn't decide to play active. They are hiding in the forests, which is good for their gun mic, I guess, or for their damage outcome, but it's maybe not the best decision for winning that match. But now they have to play it as they started to play it. Now this is their only strong possibility, only strong way to play this now. We have to drive into them. And I'm trying to use the little terrain differences here to my advantage, so I'm not spotted and can shoot at the enemy. STRV is now open. gets a nice one from our tank. So you maybe have also recognized the damage output per shot. It's mostly around 280 to 320 damage, which is okay, but it takes a while to accumulate damage. And now the RHM gets a nice HE shell into its turret, and we get the spot damage on the Lorraine. I'm trying to get now away from the RHM, but I forgot about the STRV, which I need to penetrate. And now from behind the RHM gets me. But we accumulated here over 3000 damage, which is a nice outcome for this tank, I guess. So I don't gonna tell secrets here if I tell you we won this game, and the SU will be spotted as well and hits the fan. So finishing this video with the post-game stats, we did quite good here with the 3rd place in terms of XP and the 1st place in terms of damage with almost 3500 damage. The credit outcome wasn't that great. If you consider you would play free to play, you would almost have none profits here if you pay the ratios as well, the rations. So we had quite a good session here in those 4 matches with around 1800 damage. We did 9000 WTR, which is crazy if you ask me. It's just a little bit more damage than your own HP. But okay, that's nice, also considering we won 100% of those 4 games. So as you can see, our stats did not suffer from this. Would I recommend to buy this tank? No, actually, of course not. But if you have it, you can really pack it out. It's fun to play if you have some credits over and you don't need to grind credits desperately. It's quite fun to play. I hope we see us back on the next video, and thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day and cheers, bros.